So last week, you learned how to create journal entries to report the revenue that we earned for the week. But more importantly, we learned about changing the way we communicate. Because the focus wasn't on creating the journal entries, it's never about what you did. The focus was on answering the question, how does the work that I'm doing tie to the overall business need? We need to remember that it's all about having the thought process. And I really forgot to bring home the points for the last lesson. And it's that in most interviews, okay, candidates, they put the focus on themselves. And this makes sense intuitively. The nature of an interview is for the employer to get to know you better and understand your qualifications. But what tends to happen, okay, is that the candidates, they just start to brag about themselves. They have all these talking points about how great they are. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't put yourself in a positive light. This is crucial, it's necessary. But my point is that they're really just missing this key element. They're missing something. And because they're not talking about themselves in the context of the employer's business need. So the big idea is that the interview is not about you. The interview is actually not about you. It's about the company. When you focus on what is in it for the company or employer, you'll get the job. So I'll give you an example, okay? When I was a third year in college, I applied to a product management internship at this company called Thales. They basically create software and hardware for the entertainment systems that you see on airplanes. So when you go on an airplane and you look to the seat in front of you with that monitor and you watch a movie, this company basically creates the whole hardware, software, the whole experience for you. So when I examined their business need when I was applying, I found out that they really wanted someone who could talk to different departments in the company. So like the engineers and the media managers, and they wanted someone that could really communicate with these people so the intern can draft documents for product design. Now, when I interviewed for the position, my resume was very accounting heavy. So on paper, you could tell that I was good with spreadsheets. I had skills in financial reporting and analysis. But when you think about the business need of Thales, do you think that this is something that Thales would care about? Do you think if I went on and on about how great I was at my previous accounting position and highlight all my achievements in financial reporting and spreadsheets and Excel, do you think they would care? So when I got the role, I asked my manager why they hired me, and her answer surprised me. She said the thing that stuck out most about my experiences weren't the names, weren't the accounting experiences on my resume. What she liked was how I talked about this tutoring mentorship work that I had. And I was actually debating on taking it out of my resume because it was something that was super low key. And in the interview, I talked about how I served as a medium between international students and school faculty members. And she said that this experience made her think I was really fit for the job just because it was relevant to the business need. I personally didn't think the mentorship position was particularly impressive on paper, but it did help me address the business need, and I assure you, that's how I got the job. I showed that I had the skills they needed. So I really want to hit home this point for you. The key to job hunting is to understand the business need, because the interview is not about you. The interview is about the company. So last week, tying this back to you guys, when you did the work, you weren't just creating journal entries. You were fulfilling a business need. Through your journal entries, you were helping Ramada organize its day-to-day transactions and track the financial performance, which are very crucial to the success of the business. So when you start applying for internships and jobs, really try to hone in and figure out what their business need is. So you can kind of draw from your experiences, draw from what you currently have, and figure out a way to frame and communicate that thought process to fulfill their business need. You see, the focus really just lies on how you add value to an organization through your work. It's not on just the work itself. And again, if you want to review this high-level understanding of what you did last week in detail, feel free to go over the videos from last week until you really just get it. Alright, so the next video, we're going to go straight into our next topic of this business need. It's going to be about market segments.